Explained by the Billy Meier contacts. Mysteries, myths, legends, conspiracy theories, historical inaccuracies, and more. Compiled by David Chance, revised October 18, 2023.
Age of Aquarius, Age of Aquarius. Contact Report 008.
You mean the Aquarian Age?
Sure, that's the era I'm talking about. It will bring developmental change events for the human beings of Earth. Very good ones, but also very bad ones. Particularly grave are in this regard the religious influences, because this intellectual, spiritual consciousness-based era brings forth very many new and evil types of religions and sects, wherethrough the human being is supposed to be even more struck in their delusion, whereby also sectarian mass suicides and murders are to be feared. But we want to try to prevent this, because otherwise the same thing will happen that happened to our ancestors, namely that the sect rulers and scientists will, as time goes by, also elevate themselves to Ishwishs and bring about the same catastrophe over creatures and solar systems as it was also characteristic of our forebears and many other races.
Contact Report 009.
Further necessary knowledge is to be mentioned regarding a cosmic developmental change, which I have already mentioned once before. It concerns the Age of Aquarius, also known as the Golden Age. Concerning this, the first thing I have to explain is that the religious interpretations regarding this age are absolutely unreal and are consciously misinterpreted. In part, however, there is also a certain irresponsible fanaticism behind it, when it is claimed that the Aquarian Age was the religiously proclaimed last days. But the New Age is by no means an end time, because in truth it brings the real life. It is only this age that makes it possible to bring everything to a highest state and to develop the spirit as well as the consciousness according to providence. However, it will take many centuries after the onset of the age before it will be so. First and foremost, as usual, the scientists who are poor in religion will reap benefits and might from the new advent, while the normal people will be impaired and profoundly disadvantaged by the religion. Due to the change of ages, many of the people who hold fast to the belief in a religion fall prey to a sectarian and religious delusion. In particular, the 185 years of the transition period are mightfully characterized by the fact that religious belief directions of all kinds sprout from the ground like mushrooms and cast their dangerously destructive spell over the human beings. Murder, suicide, mass murder and exploitation of all kinds, as well as evil sectarian religious enslavement arising from unreal assumptions of belief, belong to the order of the day, wherethrough the entire worldview is being shaken in a religious sectarian manner. Supposed bringers of salvation and false prophets take up a lot of room in open public and fanatically search for victims and new hangers-on. This is the prelude to the Golden Age, the transitional phase of 185 years. However, the full value of the age will not dawn until the 3rd of February 2029 at 11:20 CET. The power of developmental change of the New Age has begun on 3rd of February 1844, and since then, the tremendous changes on the earth have been rushing forward unstoppably. The New Age is already taking its toll. Religious insanity, rapid development of the computer technology, other technology, of the space travel technology, genetic engineering, and all sciences, prevalence of crime, extermination wars, etc., signs of the time which are unoverlookable. The first half, representing the halfway value of the Aquarian Age, lasted 93 years, from 1844 to 1937, during which the Earth escaped to the outermost radiations of the Age of Pisces. As of 3rd of February 1937, 1120 CET, the actual age of Aquarius began in the transition period, in other words, the second transitional half. From this date on, rapid developmental change events, discoveries, inventions, and wars, as well as rebellion, etc., are absolutely everyday norms of time and development, which are characteristic of no other age in this form. However, at the same time, the beginning of the age of Aquarius guarantees the beginning of a truly spiritual and consciousness-based life. The entire earthly solar system, with all its innumerable life forms, is cast under the spell of the new age. Everything and everyone is and will be influenced by it, as this is a cosmic law. According to this law, to which all movements of all planets and all life forms in the entire universe are subject, the Earth too entered in the year 1844, in the course of the cosmic event, into a period which evolution-based renews or eliminates all hitherto existing and valid regulations, if these are not of creational nature-based character. The new era entails that all created regulations of Earth human origin, which had their validity until then, are newly established, changed and evolutionized, modified or abolished. The origin of this epochal transformation lies in the radiation range of the gigantic center of the stars, which we call the central sun, around which the earthly, that is to say, the SOL system, orbits and passes once in the course of 25,160 years through 12 different ages in the sense of the zodiac signs known to you. The Earth, that is to say, the SOL system, orbits the Milky Way and its central sun in about 318 million years, and is already immersed in the outer edge of the golden radiation of the galactic central sun, which emits the strongest transforming and developmental change radiations in the entire Milky Way area. Also regarding this radiation, the age of Aquarius is called the Golden Age, the revolutionary, the new, the greatest, the miracle age, which brings the most immense evolutions. But much calamity is also associated with it, especially in terms of the religions and the use of new discoveries and new achievements. Not until many centuries have gone by will the human being of Earth triumph over his or her unintellect and his or her irrationality and establish everything based on the creational natural laws. The age of Aquarius is a great and exciting time. Very sublime and golden, it also has an effect in later ages and influences all zodiac circles that are to be passed through later. But during the course of the Golden Age, the human being will find a natural spiritual consciousness-based direction, which, however, will not come about without great confusions. Countless human beings will die in the delusion of their sects and religions and come to an evil end. But happy will be those who have escaped the irrational teachings of the religions and sects and indulge in the truth, the knowledge, and in the essence of wisdom of the Spirit. A tremendous renewal will take place on the earth. That which is intellectual will no longer be the only decisive factor, but will be run rings around by spiritual knowledge and spiritual ability. Anything that is not highly enough developed in spiritual consciousness-based terms, for being receptive to, and for in harmony with the higher spheres of the spiritual go hand in hand with it, will be erased and eliminated, because it disturbingly and dangerously impairs the life in every way. All spirit-inhibiting, spirit-enslaving, consciousness-inhibiting, and consciousness-enslaving things will be destroyed after everything has passed the climaxes. First and foremost in this regard will be the religions and sects, which function as the most malicious enslavers of the consciousness and its development. The new age brings with it that the earth is cleansed of all purely negative and purely positive might, where through a healthy, neutral equalizedness can be created. The pioneers of these developmental changes are the cosmic, the creational, natural, and all-conditioning laws. However, also human beings who, as prophets and teachers, announce the truth of the knowledge and the spiritual and consciousness-based essence of wisdom, are pioneers of these developmental changes. But they will suffer from abuses and insults. They will be accused of lying and cheating and charlatanism when they announce the truth and reveal that religions and sects always only lead to the abyss, but never to the development of consciousness and spirit. These pioneers will be revolutionaries, heretics, and outcasts because they will fight against the irrational might of the religions and sects and announce the truth that is millions of years old. There will be many among them born in the double sign of the time, in the twin sign of Aquarius. As earthly Aquarius-borns, they are also cosmic Aquarius-borns, ones creating developmental change, renewers, revolutionaries and prophets, teachers, and often masters of the new time. But the actually great ones among them are those who were born in the first year of the second cosmic halftime of transition to the Aquarian era, and in fact, on the first day of the change, on 3rd of February 1937, according to the earthly calculation of time. The time of the hours and minutes is also very determining, because the closer it is to the transition point of 11:20 o'clock, the more intense the age of Aquarius characteristics are formed. But there are only very few of them, and they are widely scattered throughout the world. But if they are not strongly influenced from childhood onwards by religions and sects, as well as by their environment, etc., then they are the actual pioneers and the geniuses of the new time.
Contact Report 011.
But the human being of the new time, the human being of the Aquarius era, now faces an easily solvable problem, for if they now lay the foundation stone of the truth, then they gain a whole new structure of philosophical and psychological values for a happy, free, and peaceful spiritual life in the future. A free spiritual life which is based on everything that represents the best in the cultural and spiritual inheritance of the earth, the spiritual truth.
Contact Report 031.
When the cosmic times change, the senses of the life forms also inevitably change. This is also what has happened to Earth humans. The Piscean age was still very much marked by religions and their fanaticism, and only what could be seen with one's own eyes and what could be touched and heard with one's own ears was regarded as real and true. Then came the first labor pains of the Aquarian age, and suddenly Earth humans began to listen within. But he or she also began to think and to investigate, and suddenly he or she realized that logic was to be found only in truth. He or she realized that in seeing and hearing there was a lot of deception and only rarely the truth. Thus, in a very short time, he or she developed their faculties of reasoning and searched inquiringly for logic and truth through conscious learning and thought work. This, however, is a marked characteristic of the Aquarian age, and to this characteristic, all wisdom-knowing intelligences adhere. And this, among other things, is also one of the main reasons why extraterrestrial life forms only reveal themselves to certain individual Earth humans, upon whom they impose certain tasks which they can carry out according to their knowledge and their concepts, if at all. Until now, these tasks had to be woven into religious phrases in order to make them accessible to Earth humans. But now these times are over and the truth must be spread as the truth really is. The present time of the Aquarian era demands the thinking of the human beings of Earth and the evolution of consciousness and spirit. These factors, however, cannot be attained by seeing and hearing with the physical organs concerned, but only by reason and understanding. But with the beginning of the Aquarian Age in the Earth year 1844,
Contact Report 039.
But now, I have a question that has already occupied me for a long time, namely regarding a statement of the Christian Bible. There is talk there of an anti-time or something like that. When, then, should this time come?
This is the prophesied anti-time, or the time of the Antichrist, which is falsely laid out in the Christian Bible, in which the earth human will free himself or herself from the religious delusion and turn back to the truth. This time is connected to the cosmic age of Aquarius, and the anti-time has already begun with the passage of the first half into the second half of the transitional period, namely exactly at 11:20 HR's GMT on the 3rd of February, 1937.
That would be, therefore, the time of catastrophic confusions, of the churches and other religions' mass murders, and of the political and religious wars, of the degeneration of human beings, and otherwise all evils of the last centuries, and the coming time of catastrophes, etc., which were prophesied by the old prophets and also by Emmanuel.
Sure. It's just that they still have not found their completion because the most severe events are yet to come. And to be sure, sectarian murders and mass suicides, as well as religious, murderous riots, neo-Nazi terror, and other terror through right-wing and left-wing radical elements and groups. But in the future, natural disasters will also take the upper hand in a degenerate form, and indeed, not in the least by the fault of Earth humanity. Revolutions and wars will also take the upper hand in menacing measures.
a turn for the better has only been apparent since the beginning of the new era. Thus, the average lifespan slowly rises again. The main reason for this is found in the recognition of the truth and in the positive evolution associated with it. Thus, the more the development direction turns to the truth again, the higher the average lifespan develops again, for through this, the altered genetic factors and all other life-supporting factors are also regulated again, which were badly impaired over the course of tens of thousands of years.
Contact Report 055.
Does the white race still have a mission in the age of Aquarius, and will it be able to carry it out?
All human races on Earth have a task to fulfill, and when they finally recognize and acknowledge the truth, they will also complete it together. There is no race preferred or disadvantaged because all swim in one boat without difference. The life forms referred to as the white race have no special task whatsoever, as is assumed, which undoubtedly sounds out of the question. It is not set above others either.
Contact Report 066.
The natural cosmic laws require a uniform and consistent development within the framework of all evolutionary concerns of all levels. This means that the spiritual as well as the material consciousness-based development constantly progress in harmony with each other and must always be in harmony with each other in accordance with the consistency of all things. Exceptions confirm the rule, even if this exception is not easily recognizable and precedes in a form that does not appear very frequently. Such an exception is the Earth human. He or she is not yet capable of mastering consciousness with all its consequences, and yet they are already capable of finding their way in the field of gravitational force research to a great extent. This exception rests in the confusing fact of a very rare erroneous development, which has fundamentally shifted the potential of the rectification of consciousness and the material realm overall, whereby the material realm has become overpowering and dominates in relation to the evolution. This explains why the material realm has come to the fore and has become dominant in terrestrial human beings, whereby evolution takes place primarily in this direction, while the purely consciousness-based evolution lags behind at a disadvantage, as you yourself once said. This is why technology on Earth is far more developed than the evolution of the consciousness. It should be noted, however, that especially since 1937, the strong influences of the New Age have led this mismatch of the material realm throughout the world into much lighter and more moderate paths, whereby the difference between the prosperity of consciousness and pure materialness is no longer as great as is generally assumed. Many spiritual and consciousness-based directions have led to the attainment of great insights of enormous importance and great value, which are decisively reflected in the development of technology and, interestingly, lead to good success, although the normal course of compliance with the law is disturbed. This can be explained, however, by the fact that the new knowledge of consciousness, gained elsewhere, almost fully replaces the lawful rule, which means that the Earth human, despite his or her barbarian nature, has progressed very much in every respect since 1937, and although often unconsciously and only caused by the cosmic vibrations, approaches the real evolution very rapidly and begins to fulfill it. The background of this development can already be determined with the first day of the breakthrough of the age of Aquarius on the 3rd of February 1844, and during the subsequent time up to the year 1937, since from the 3rd of February the second half of the transitional period began to show its powerful effect, whereby it can be said with the greatest probability that the desired value of the Earth human in relation to his or her determination of evolution will probably be reached at the earliest in a period of 800 years.